What's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard youth and Wolt. And this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. Today's episode, I was going to say, that's right, coming at you live from the wet West Coast.
Yeah.
Put your house on some stilts. Don't go on the coastal highways because they're falling into the ocean.
Right. Armageddon is among us.
No, I just, people from Chicago, because my wife's from Chicago, they're texting me like, "Oh my God, how crazy is the weather?" I was like, "Dude, your guys' weather is still way crazy." Yeah, we get a lot of rain. It's not a big deal. Like, I would much rather that see, in Chicago, they're like sliding down the streets and stuff,
Yeah, I'll take the
Yeah, but hey, this is our week 18 weekend wrap up show. This is where we talk about the games that we watch with our own eyeballs. So we are poor. I'm grabbing. I do this every week though. I like it. But I'm grabbing free airways from that the government has to supply me. Jason's doing illegal stuff. And anyways, we just talk about the games that we thought, between the two of us made the most sense. And so this is, the last week we're all 32 teams are playing. So now it's getting narrowed down to the playoffs. Jason, you want to tell these people how they can help this show, please?
Oh yeah, they could definitely help us out by giving us a nice subscription, especially, if you subscribe, you click that little alert button anytime we put out a video, notify you. So you can be one of the first ones to view and like and comment. You can also put like first. I wonder if that's still a thing. When you comment, you go first. Yeah, we appreciate the likes, we appreciate the comments. We're still growing. We appreciate all of you and every one of you. Doesn't matter. We love them all. Appreciate you guys. Keep subscribing, please. And we also have an Instagram at the Fantasy Footballin' Show with more content.
Thank you, Mr. Jason.
Outside.
So the first, by the way, Jason got a new computer. He's investing heavily into this. He's gonna render all of our stuff today. We'll see how it turns out. Tell us if you like it or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna tax the crap out of this.
You're gonna as a business expense?
A business expense.
I wonder if I can do that. It's funny. Well, I was applying for a loan. They're like, "Do you have any other jobs?" And I'm like, I had to think about it because I'm like, man, I spend a lot of time doing this, but no, not that you're concerned because I don't make money.
Right. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't get the loan if I told them I'm spending all my money on something that's not making money. So,
dream job. We're doing dream job.
Hey, man, this is our passion.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, man, just find your passion. It's like I'm not doing anything.
Do it.
Do it. So Joshua, this was a playoff game. This was a playoff extension of the NFL because whoever won this game was going to the playoffs.
Yeah, this was the Titans at Jacksonville. As Tyler said, like the winner of this game was going to go into the playoffs, and it's both these teams played last week and it didn't even matter. So it was all about this last week. Of course, going into this, it's a battle for the playoffs. You wanted to see which team was actually going to advance. And then Joshua Dobbs, during the Thursday night game against the Cowboys, they already said that he was going to be the starter for this game. So I wanted to see his performance. With that being said, Joshua Dobbs he was 20 for 29, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He did run the ball 5 times for 32 yards and a fumble loss. It's not the great stat line that you would want to have a quarterback, especially in a game that you need to win. I do know they relied heavily on the run because Derrick Henry once again had 30 rushes for 109 yards. It looks like he had 1 reception for 19 yards on 1 target. Looks like they were focusing more on the run. I do believe they had the game. They were ahead for most of the game. I think the Jacksonville had to make a little comeback, but in the end, you needed your quarterback to do something. He didn't really produce a lot. It looks like it was just like a bunch of like short little passes, nothing too deep.
Well, so yeah, when I was watching the game, you're right. And the Titans, dude, they were playing like really good defense against Trevor Lawrence, and you look at they were stopping the run. And from what I know, I'm surprised Travis Etienne Jr. didn't have a really big game receiving because it seems like Thursday Night Football has featured the Titans a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And man, pass catching backs actually really do well against him. So I was actually thinking that Travis Etienne was going to have a big game. I was surprised that he didn't. And then I was also surprised that Evan Ingram didn't have a big game with, all the pass rush and everything, because that pass rush was getting to Trevor Lawrence, man. But like, I
Yeah.
was really impressed by Trevor Lawrence just kind of like hanging in the pocket and making like last second throws. But still, Joshua Dobbs, man, like those 2 fumbles that he did, like, I mean, he's a backup quarterback, and he's like not even a backup quarterback. He's like a third string quarterback, and he's being asked to do a lot. So I mean, I thought he did really well for being where he is,
Right.
But dude, he
Yeah.
was making a lot of mistakes. And that dude, those fumbles, did you see those fumbles, man? They were like identical. The first one they lost, it was spinning out of his hand. And
Yeah.
that second one, I don't know if it's center or somebody jumped on it again, but that was really close.
Yeah. He really. I mean, for fantasy wise, like I don't think a lot of people were starting this player anyway. And if you did, I'm pretty sure he didn't help you win in the final week of the regular season with the interception and a fumble. That right there in our league is already 4 points. He didn't really put up a lot of numbers. And so I was looking at the receiving end too, because Traylon Burks, that's your dude. That dude's a beast. I like him too. Um, it looks like he led in targets. He had 7 targets. It looked like that was most out of anybody, but he only had 4 receptions for 19 yards.
Yeah, and I was like, who was it? Was it him that caught the ball and then threw it, lateraled it forward? Oh man.
Yes,
And I was
yes,
like,
yes,
Treylon
yes.
Burks, man, what are you doing?
Desperate.
Was
No,
that a design play? It's like,
I
dude,
I don't know.
because I had to check I checked the score. I was like, oh, it must be the end of the game. And I was like, what am I doing, man? This is like the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
So,
he watched that was it that Raiders New England game where they threw it back to
well,
Jones, Mac Jones.
yeah, and we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers later, but there is a chance that the big news, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers going to Tennessee. And if that happened, I would like Treylon Burks, but it's still that Okonkwo. He looks like the real deal. I think he's going to be a good tight end in the system for a while. And then, yeah, he just used Hooper. It was all tight ends that I saw that he was making big plays with.
Yeah, he wasn't really throwing an outside too much. It looked like he was more attacking the inside of the secondary because um he had what the guy's name I can't pronounce. He was the one that scored the touchdown with 42 yards,
Yeah,
and
Okonkwo.
yeah, he led the receiving yards for the whole wide receiver core. Um, he did have it was 3 receptions on 4 targets. I think they were just playing Traylon Burks, pretty good, and also, Dobbs has only been there for a couple of weeks. How much chemistry can they actually build out of that time? I think heading into this, it was going to be a heavy Derrick Henry game, which it was, but it seemed like this was a desperate play for the Titans, and it's just because of Ryan Tannehill being hurt, Malik Willis not being the guy that they're hoping at the time, being a rookie, and they just had to throw this guy in there and hope, and it didn't work out.
It was a close game, dude. And like, I
Also,
was,
divisional game, yeah, it was a close game.
and so what I was thinking was like, because I keep on hearing Chris Long talk about how he loves Mike Vrabel. And he's like, when it matters the most, man, he will get his guys to play like amazing defense and all this. Dude, he did, man. Like when it mattered most, like if they would have had any other, if they would have had Tannehill in there, they would have won pretty easily. I felt like, even though I did like, Trevor Lawrence, yeah, was actually doing really well with what's his name, dude, Christian Kirk and him. Like they were locking everything down except that connection. And then did you see Trevor Lawrence throw out of the end zone with Zay Jones, that blown touchdown?
No,
Dude,
what happened with that?
it was like on 20-yard line, and he just was like, it was Zay Jones was wide open, and he threw it like 20 yards out of the end zone, and he couldn't believe it. Like he just threw it way too strong. But like so, like I really feel like it was like 24-16 because like that was such a blown play. It was crazy. But at the same time, dude, like Tennessee had that game within reach until like the fourth quarter. It
Yeah,
just sucks for Mike Vrabel. And then and also, sorry, Jason,
no, you're fine.
they fired that offensive coordinator today as well.
Mm,
And
interesting.
I'm like, dude, you gave Derrick Henry the ball 30 times. Like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Is what I'd be saying.
But for real, right? It's like, look what you guys handed me, and so gave the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times. He got over 100 yards rushing. I don't know what else you want with Joshua Dobbs. And he had a crazy stiff arm in that game too, Derrick Henry.
He's like loaded up, man. Like it was like the Pokemon Mega Fist, dude. It was like a total. Whew. I forget that you had I forgot that you had a tattoo, Jason.
Yeah, I'm hardcore, man. I got ink. I
You
got
want to fight? I could beat you up. I got a tattoo,
I got
dog.
a tattoo. I could beat up anybody unless they have multiple tattoos. I only got one. I got the strength of one.
No, I'm not even on the scale, dude. But hey, anyways, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Uh,
fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess they never really had a super high power offense anyway. It just, I mean, you could put me as an offensive coordinator, and they're going to be like, "What should we do, coach?" I'm like, "Give the ball to Derrick Henry 35 times."
so I thought that kind of sucked for that offensive coordinator because it's like, dude, it's like you've had Dobbs and you're feeding Derrick Henry. I wanted to see Jason, like I've got Derrick Henry as like my number 2 running back going into next season, pretty much. But I mean, I think he's turning 29. How would you feel about getting in on the Derrick? Because he's not going to be playing. They're out of wait. Yeah, they're out of the playoffs.
Right.
So this is going to be fresh. How do you feel about having Derrick Henry next year?
I am kind of afraid to get Derrick Henry that early. And don't get me wrong, that guy is an amazing running back. He is a beast. It's hard to tackle. He's got the arms of a python that strike you down. But I mean, this guy has gotten the ball so many times this year, and I I can't wait to see like how the total amount of times he's actually touched the ball, because that means he got tackled that many times touching the ball. And the older you are, would you say he's going to be 29?
Yeah.
That kind of worries me with his durability. Start to break down a little bit. But then again, there's always the way of the force, and where he's just going to stay healthy, and he's going to keep getting those 30 touches, and he's just going to destroy opponents. So it's tough for me. Like, I could see I had this the same thought with like Frank Gore, right?
Yeah, right. This is like 2 times Frank Gore, you know?
This is a perfect example for me, because it got to a point where I was like, I don't want Frank Gore this year. That guy, he's getting older. He keeps getting touches. Like, he's going to run out. And that dude kept trucking. He kept trucking. I passed him up in fantasy drafts so often,
Hey,
many
dude.
times.
Yeah,
And I got,
Thomas Jones too. Remember that?
yeah, Thomas Jones was a beast too.
And he
Uh,
had arms of a freaking anaconda, dude.
I know that dude. He was crazy. Just running down the field. He looked like a transformer, like a little
One
bumble.
1 second, Jason. Happy belated birthday to Derrick Henry. He turned 29 uh 5 days ago.
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday. Let's see if I can
But
get.
but you do think he's gonna go in the first round.
Yeah. I don't know about early, but maybe late first round I'd be okay with.
Okay, because he's finishing the year with 4 consecutive 100-yard plus games, and he had 3 touchdowns in the last 4. He had a touchdown every game except for this one.
Yeah.
And he didn't play last week, but still.
Yeah, and oh my god, that's another thing. Like, what if, people had him and he didn't play in the championship round? Gosh. It's crazy
Dude,
how fantasy football and football in general could just like do that, you
well,
know.
they're lucky that this mattered because he some people that oh well wait, I guess that didn't matter. He wasn't involved in that game, actually. I take that back. I was gonna say in the Bengals and the Bills game, a lot of the people were taking points from this week and applying them to last week. Did you hear about that?
Oh.
So like say like you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. If you had them last week, you got 0 points. You just take what this week gave you. A lot of people won their championships with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase this week.
Oh,
So
I didn't even think about that.
I thought that was actually a good idea, but at the same time, the people that they're playing, the dude, the Ravens weren't even playing hard. So it's like,
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind of was weird.
It's like you could go into that thinking like, I'd rather have him play against the Bills in the championship than the Ravens.
Yeah,
This whole thing, I hope it never happens again. But with what happened, with Monday night being canceled, it kind of put things. It kind of like tainted things, right?
right. And then Jason, talking about, so I thought I really liked Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I know that he was getting shut down by this defense, but I don't care, man. Like, I think he is the future. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. He's going to break into that like next year, and then from then on, he's just going to be talked about a lot.
Yeah, it was the Jacksonville made the biggest turnaround in NFL history from one year to the second.
They got last in their division. Now they won the division. So,
Right, but then they only win like 2 or 3 games last year.
well, Urban Myers, man, was too busy putting his
That's
fingers
right.
in people's crotches to really. Yes, not a finger.
I don't think,
Dude. Okay. Anyways, though, and
um,
then
yeah, Trevor Lawrence is
so
the future.
yeah, and then it'd be interesting to see if they stick with Etienne, or because I'm trying to think of how their running game was with Doug Peterson. Ooh, I think,
So they
dude,
had
I
like James
was
Robinson. Was that guy?
no, I'm talking about when he was in the Eagles. Like, I can't remember if it was just a one running back system.
Oh, I think it was the same way as they're playing it now, right?
Okay, so because I'd like to see if they try to spell Etienne with somebody, but if they don't really draft anybody, I would love to have him next year.
Yeah,
And
me too.
then yeah, dude, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones is like a 5th-year player, so it'd be interesting to see what they're gonna do with him.
Yeah, and then Evan Ingram, he didn't really finish this game strong, but how do you feel about him next year for tight
Oh,
end?
dude, I he'd be a super, not a super late round target, but like not in the middle rounds. Like I'm trying to think of like somebody that was around him, almost like a Cole Kmet type of target. Like, I don't like Cole Kmet next year, but how Cole Kmet was this year. Like at the top of that one tier that you
Mhm.
can just super wait on, but you don't want to wait too late on. I think Evan Ingram would be there.
Yeah. What about Christian Kirk? He did 6 receptions, 99 yards, and 1 touchdown, 8 targets.
Yeah, and,
This
and
guy's
he's a
his
second.
go-to
He's a
guy.
second round draft. He's a second round draft pick in 2018, so he's not too old. But the thing is, we got to remember about this, Jason, is that they are acquiring Calvin Ridley. Was it Calvin Ridley?
Oh,
So
next
I
year?
think that I think that if Zay Jones can play the slot, I think which he was really good at this year, and then they move Christian Kirk to the number 2, and then Ridley number 1. That's why I think, dude, Trevor Lawrence is gonna be insane. But we're gonna have to remember, and we're gonna have to see where Calvin Ridley is in the preseason, and go according to that.
Give me some Calvin Ridley.
Dude, I would be like, if he drops late in the draft, you better believe he's on my draft list.
Yeah. That's gonna make the Jaguar team even better. Trevor Lawrence, you can see at the beginning of the year, he was kind of just like still figuring things out, and then it just clicked. And this guy's been dominant for most of the mid to second half of the year. He progressed really nicely. He
Yeah,
progressed really nicely. He's
and I don't know
progressed.
who and I don't know who they play next week. Um,
Go Chargers, go!
I was gonna say, I was like, I think it's like somebody that I think they can beat. That's right, because this is where we're gonna compare Justin Herbert to Trevor Lawrence.
Well, they played earlier in the year, week 3 or 4, in San Diego, and they
Trevor
killed
Lawrence
them.
went nuclear, I think.
Yeah, they killed them like what, like 30-10 or something
I
like
got negative points from, I was like, Chargers defense is elite. And then
that.
and then I was like, oh my God. I dropped Chargers defense after that, but that's when, like, dude, Joey Bosa was injured.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, Joey Bosa was injured again because they played him in a game that didn't matter. Same thing with Mike Williams, dude.
And then
Weird.
I started Evan Ingram in that game, and he dropped a touchdown pass, and I got so pissed I dropped him.
And then from then on, he was like pretty vital. But yeah,
Yeah,
he's fallen off a little bit lately, but still, like, I like Doug Peterson's system for tight ends. So if Evan Ingram's a tight end there, I'll like it.
yeah,
And then that's all I really have to say about that, Jason.
me too. I'm glad to see the Jaguars were able to turn things around and actually make the playoffs. I like it when you got these kind of younger quarterback teams making playoffs. We're not seeing the normal every team from every year making the playoffs and making their runs. But
Right.
yeah, I'm pretty good. I think next we got the Ravens at the Bengals.
All right, Jason. What were you looking for when you were going for the Ravens versus the Bengals?
I wanted to see because the Bengals were gonna, they're already going into the playoffs and they're on a hot streak. I wanted to see if they're going to continue that streak because you want to go into the playoffs hot, hot, hot. And I say that because the Cowboys are going into the playoffs and they're looking cold, 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 like a cold cut trio. Not looking good, but for the Bengals, it's looking good. For the Bengals, it looks like they are returning. They are back to last year's form of making it to the Super Bowl and playing. Uh, yeah, they're probably going to be pretty hard to beat. And then on the other side, you know, Ravens, Lamar Jackson's out. They didn't play Huntley. They played Anthony Brown, and they also saved J.K. Dobbins for next week. So I wanted to see what Gus Edwards was going to do. Getting that roll back against that Cincinnati D. Gus Edwards went out with a concussion, so he didn't really do much. It was Kenny Drake and Justice Hill doing much of the carrying.
Like,
Anthony Brown, he didn't start off looking too good. He looked pretty bad. He ended up 19 for 44, 286 yards, but he had 0 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. He had 4 sacks, and he had a fumble loss. There were times, you know what? The times that he actually looked really good throwing the ball when he was throwing it to Isaiah Likely, because also Mark Andrews didn't play this week either.
so
Yes, so.
sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh,
was,
so.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
And he didn't look too good, but I guess they were basically just they're going to play in the playoffs anyway, so they were just like saving their players, for next week. And Kenny Drake took over the main role. 16 rushes, 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 19 yards on 5 targets. One thing I really noticed about Kenny Drake is that he's a guy that gets bounced around a lot, but when players get hurt and he kind of needs to take over that lead role, especially in the Ravens lately, or this year, like he does pretty well. He does pretty well, and at least he'll get you some decent points and a touchdown. He did again. But there wasn't really much going on for the Ravens. They couldn't really do much against that Bengals D in Cincinnati.
Well, so they're trying to rest up for their playoffs run.
Right.
I mean, Mark Andrews has been dealing with injuries all year and everything, but I do want to say that if you were Gus Edwards, a believer, and then you held on to for a long time, I let go early, but you were never. His best game was literally his first game, Jason, back from injury, and who started him then? Like nobody, and then we all started him the next game, and I think he got injured. I think he got injured again. He hyperextended his knee that next game, dude, so bad. And I do want to say that J.K. Dobbins is a name to look out for. I'm kind of having issues ranking him right now. He led the league in yards per carry since like week 14 when he came back or something like that. And dude, the Ravens run the ball every year. So, but yeah, dude, watching that game, Isaiah Likely is awesome. He is a lot like, he's a hybrid tight end. And Sammy Watkins might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know.
You think so, huh?
I was like, oh my God, I forgot Sammy Watkins is on this team. And then he like fumbled the ball.
I know.
And I was like, oh, I remember this guy.
2 receptions, 79 yards, and a fumble. And I was even watching it. I was like, he plays for the Ravens? Wasn't it just about 5 weeks ago he was playing for the Packers?
I know, dude. But yeah. Well, Anthony Brown, I do want to say that he has got a good arm. I was like, oh man, this guy's got a great arm. But man, he's really erratic. I should check to see what year he is, but like he settled down at the end and was making some decent throws. But dude, like so many almost interceptions. Oh my God, dude. Oh, he's from Oregon.
Yeah. He's an Oregon player.
Sorry, I went to Oregon State, so that's why I'm kind of like, what? He's a rookie. He looked like a rookie. And I'm surprised he didn't run more, like tuck it and run. So I mean, that wasn't he had a good arm. He just made a lot of bad decisions. And dude, when he took that fumble in the end zone, he had zero awareness, man, that anybody was even around him. Like,
yeah,
he held onto the ball when standing in the end zone. Like, that was terrible. But this game was really out of like they got within like a touchdown one time, and that was it. This game was never going to get close.
Yeah, This guy threw 25 incompletions against that defense.
They
Also,
ran the. I can't believe they ran. I can't believe they only ran the ball 27 times to 44.
yeah, these two teams are playing again next week in Cincinnati. Should be a different game. I want to see Lamar Jackson, if that dude's even going to play, and if he does play, how well is he going to play? Because he's been out for so long, he's been dealing with his knee injury. J.K. Dobbins is going to be back, and as Tyler said, Dobbins has kind of been on a tear lately. I like J.K. I like the name. Um, this game, Joe Burrow did his thing. He didn't really do spectacular, but he didn't really need to with the defense playing as well as it did. Joe Burrow, he was 25 for 42, 215 yards, 1 touchdown. He got sacked twice. He had 10 yards rushing and a fumble loss. Not great numbers, but when there's a point where your defense is kind of just like winning the game for you, you don't really need to produce much. Also, there was like T. Higgins who got targeted 7 times with only 1 catch. He was struggling. He got a little bit banged up too on some of the plays. Same with Tyler Boyd. But who was excited to play this game was Hayden Hurst. He was
Dude,
super
you watch
excited.
that. You watch those games. I'm gonna ask you why, but I was like, dude, like I thought he had like 80 yards and a touchdown when I was all watching him, and then I was like, oh, 4 for 14.
Yeah, he got 13 of them on his first catch of the game, and he was just like, ah, yeah, yeah, buddy. And then he got 1 yard after that. He got 10
Dude,
minutes left.
hey man, you know who looked like so Joe Burrow looked amazing running the ball. He was like, dude, he is so much like Tom Brady as far as like he's not fast, but like he can get out of stuff like where Tom Brady can't anymore.
Yeah,
Neither can Aaron Rodgers anymore. But like it was like I don't know if I think it was like the first or second drive of the game when he
yeah,
was like scampered all over the place and didn't get hit. And then also Joe Mixon, I was like, who is that guy? He ran so fast. I think that was it was a screen or something. Is this 33-yard one? That guy is freaking. He looks so athletic in the open field.
yeah. And I think that's why they put him in as a number 1 quarter or running back is because of how athletic he is. But the thing is, his vision when he's like actually running the ball, 11 carries for 27 yards. He doesn't have great vision. When he goes between the tackles, he's like getting stuffed. He's getting stuffed pretty hard. He was able to get a touchdown to kind of help his fantasy value or product. It was like a 1 yard or second yard or 1 yard or 2 yard. And it was like one of those things where he scored the touchdown. I'm like, bro, why were you not doing this all year when I had you on my team? There was times where I saw him down there on the goal line, and he would get stuffed like 3 straight times. I'm just like, God dang. Joe Mixon really burned me this year. But yeah, I think that's the reason why they put him in over Perrine is because he can catch the ball, and you get this guy in open field, and he could be great. That's why they thrown the ball to him 5 times, and he's got 41 yards. One of them, the longest one was 33 yards on that crazy screen. But between the tackles, that dude ain't much.
Well, you drafting Damian Pierce over Joe Mixon?
Probably not. And that
I've
well,
got,
you guys
I've got him right below Joe Mixon because of the offense.
right, and you got to think of the offense. I don't know. We'll see because Damian Pierce is going to have a new head coach and possibly a new quarterback going into next year. If they could actually do something on offense and move the ball, he could be very valuable.
Who was the leading fantasy quarterback this week, Jason?
Was it Mills?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, and Brandon Cooks went off. I was like, of course, dude. Yeah. How
Yeah.
about you just take everybody I drafted and make them do well on the week that fantasy doesn't matter? Let's do that.
We kind of had that Hail Mary there, that like 45-yard touchdown that the tight end caught. And
Oh, right. Jason, would you rather have Joe Mixon or Jonathan Taylor?
I guess we're just going to have to see. I mean, because Joe Mixon is on a good team, but the thing is, he doesn't play like he's on a good team. I
About
guess
Kenneth Walker. And you like Kenneth Walker more than both those players?
I do. I would rather have Kenneth Walker than both right now.
I've got Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker above those players.
Yeah. Oh, I like me some Brees Hall,
I would
man.
love Kenneth Walker, dude, but his ankles and like usage
Yeah.
scares the hell out of me. But he's so talented; it's just kind of hard not to.
Well, speaking of
Um.
that, we're gonna.
Oh yeah. But Jason, before.
Oh,
Oh crap! Yeah, go for it. Because I need to
yeah.
ask you about
So
Jamar Chase.
I got a question for you, sir. And what happens when you see players doing this?
There's a couple third down receptions already in this one. Williams, the block at the left tackle to the end zone. Chase.
Oh yeah.
They beat Worley.
He's just skipping and a hopping and a loving life. I was gonna say, dude, you know what the last like 2 or 3 weeks has done to me? Because I had Tyreek Hill over Jamar Chase, right?
All right.
I think I might have Jamar Chase over Tyreek Hill right now.
That was mainly the point of showing that highlight because I watched that game and when I saw that, I was like, damn. And then it was like right after they were like Tyreek Hill questionable with an ankle. I'm like, he's got weak ankles. What is he doing? He can't be a first round pick. He's after Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase could jump over anybody. Tyreek Hill's fast, but yeah, he's got weak ankles. You know, I was like, my mind was just like going 100 miles per hour right there. And I was thinking, I was like, maybe we should get Jamar Chase. You know, maybe I should. He looks pretty good. The dude got 13 targets from Joe Burrow, 8 for 86 and 1 touchdown. And the touchdown looked pretty damn good too.
Yeah, so I think literally in my board, it's like Justin Jefferson. I think it was Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna have to see because Matthew Stafford's coming back next year, dude. So Cooper Kupp, and then probably Jamar Chase, and then probably Tyreek Hill. I gotta look again. Devontae Adams depends on who's the quarterback for the Raider.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's still things I need to go and play before we're like in the end be like, all right, this is the guy I want to get because this is the quarterback and this is the coach. Uh,
But Jamar Chase, though, Jason, last 4 weeks, so it's 15 targets, 13 targets, 11 targets, 13 targets, three touchdowns in the last 4.
yeah, he's the dude's kind of a beast. You know, he's a different type of player than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a type that he could just take a slant 75 yards for a touchdown. You know, he's going to get open. He's going to catch the ball in the open field and make some runs. Jamar Chase, that dude, as we can see, that dude could leap over everybody, and that dude's getting the targets. You know, the Joe loves him. You know, ever since college, they're in a relationship.
Joe loves him, Jason. Jason said you love him.
He loves him. They're in a relationship.
Yeah, and it's like the thing about Tyreek Hill is he needs a quarterback. So,
Yep.
and as much as I like Tua, dude, it's crazy. Tua literally went from being like a huge fantasy boom. He is now like lined up with his ADP. It's like he's like the 17th or 16th quarterback, and he was
Yeah,
the 17th or 16th quarterback taken. So
that's unfortunate too, just because he in that system he could do so well, but you know how many games has he missed because of injuries this year?
yeah, so like I don't if I'm drafting Tyreek Hill, it's like dependent on dude. It's just I'd rather just get Jamar Chase, but then if Joe Burrow ever goes down, it'd probably be just as bad. So
Yeah,
but yeah, that's all. I think I hit everything I wanted to talk about on there, Jason.
yeah, that's pretty good. I'm done. We need to take a short break and let the audience hear from our sponsors, and then we could be right back to do the Lions Packers game.
Sounds good.
All right, hit you.
On the flip side, we are back. This is the Fantasy Football Show, and you are watching us. Anyways, we went over the Jags and the Titans, the Ravens and the Bengals. I'm looking at Jason's face when I should be looking at the camera.
I always look at your face. That's why I'm always like,
it's like, well, it's like for some reason but all the shorts or when I think I've got something important to say, I look into the camera. I got something in my throat, man. Mute.
it's knowledge. Cough out that
Could you hear that? Could you hear that when I coughed real hard?
dope because you muted it.
Holy crap. Technology.
We're here to stay.
What did you say?
We're here to stay. This
We're
technology.
here to stay. So hopefully everybody got to watch this game last night, Jason.
It was a pretty good game. I love the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Vikings fan. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. Ever since he got me 9 points in the fantasy playoffs championships like 13 years ago or something like that. But yeah, so I really wanted to watch this game as a Vikings fan, and the Lions needed to beat the Packers, and the Packers would not get in. And then I don't remember the scenario. I maybe if Seattle lost and Detroit won, then they would get in. But since Seattle won, they are going in instead of the Packers. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. Packers, all they had to do was win and they were in. I think if Seattle lost and the Lions won, then the Lions and the Packers were both going to be in, or the Lions and I don't know. It was something crazy. It doesn't matter. Neither of them are going in.
Right. So, I kind of got sad for the Lions when I figured out that they weren't going in, because I thought if they won this
Right.
game, they'd be in.
Yeah, well, it came down to that Seattle game, and Seattle won. Right, they like in overtime, they could kick that field goal. So once
Yeah.
that happened, they weren't going to go in. It is kind of sad, because going into this game, this was also a year that people probably thought that the Lions were just going to be wash because nothing too great was for this Lions team. They started off not the best, but then they kind of went on a tear. And then lately, can't remember how many weeks it's been. I want to say probably like the last like 8 weeks, 7 weeks. Jared Goff has had 15 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So that, and his passer rating, I think, like leads that span. So he's been doing well. He's been doing really well. Uh, the thing with the Lions too is that part of the reason why I think they started the season like 1-4, was they were dealing with a lot of injuries. Their defense wasn't too great, and now that a lot of them are healthy, you see what they could do when they have a healthy team. They could win games. Jared Goff he could go off. And on the other side, it was like Packers win and they're in. And I tell you what, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best I've ever seen play, but I was really happy for him not to go in. I feel like that dude's been kind of a punk lately, and I'm just tired of seeing the Packers in the playoffs. It's like, oh, let's get some new people in there. So I wish it was the Lions to go in, but also I'm not actually mad that Seattle made it into the playoffs, because no one thought Seattle was going to do well this year. And then Geno Smith went out and like broke the Seattle passing record in the game.
So I want Russell Wilson to cry. I want him to feel pain. So hey, man, you know how probably upset he is that the team he's on is not in the playoffs, and the team he left, the guy broke his records and made the playoffs. So
Yeah,
that's great. I love that. Yeah, dude. What I was thinking though was that the Green Bay's defense has been playing really well lately. And I wanted to see if like that was just kind of like how that was going to carry over. But then I saw it was gonna be 26 degrees. I mean, you saw that short I had.
yeah,
And I was like, dude, I didn't think that the Detroit was going to put up that much offense. So I was kind of afraid. Little did I know, dude, that their defense is not bad. Like their defense has been playing better, but I did not think that they're going to play this well.
yeah. I think going in halftime it was 9-6.
Yeah, dude, and the defense was, I mean, to keep, and there was some big plays from, I don't know if Lazard got a touchdown in the first half, but Christian Watson had a pretty big play in the first half.
They got their touch. He got a touchdown in the second half.
Okay, is that what it was? But dude, like I just thought that yeah, that there was anyway. I don't know what I thought, Jason. I keep on see this is bad when I read stuff, because I was like, man, DeAndre Swift, once he got like DDT'd, I don't think he got any more carries. Do you remember when he got DDT, Jason?
Yeah, the number 90 for Green Bay just basically forearm through the face mask.
It was just like, oof.
Right.
And they're like, foul, foul, foul. And I was like, yeah, they got him. And like, no, it was for this other dude.
Walker.
Yeah, and then that guy was the guy that
Orca.
ended up pushing the medical guy.
Yeah.
But still, dude, like I cannot believe they missed. That was like the craziest tackle I've ever seen.
Right, and that was like a huge momentum change in that game because the Lions were doing well. Walker was having a great game for Green Bay, and then when he got ejected, like it just wasn't the same type of defense. You know, Walker is going to be he's going to be pretty good on that Packers team for years to come.
He's
But
a rookie, right?
yeah, from Georgia, he once he left and he went crying down the tunnel. It was just a different game. And I think it was also that same drive that this happened. Yeah, this happened.
What is happening? Okay.
Williams into the end zone. The Lions retake the lead. A record-setting 17th rushing touchdown this season for the former Packer.
That guy just broke Barry Sanders' rushing record for touchdowns for the Lions. Why are you laughing?
I thought that was your voice. The guy sounded a lot like you. So 17.
It was me.
It wasn't you.
It was me. Yeah, I was at the game. That's why I'm freezing right now. But
Barry Sanders though was okay with it. He actually was happy for him in the most Barry Sanders way ever.
oh my god, I was like, that just sounds like Barry Sanders.
I know.
Speaking of that, this is like I wanted to show that because this was a lot of touchdowns that he was getting, right? He was getting a lot of those goal line carries, touchdowns. We talk about last season, Austin Eckler having around 20 touchdowns. And then we talk about how there was going to be a regression. Didn't quite happen. He's around 20 again. I don't know. I can't remember if he got a touchdown in yesterday's game. So now Jamal Williams with 17 touchdowns, there's got to be regression, right? There's no way this guy gets that many touchdowns next year.
Most times stopped at the 1 yard line and did not score on the same drive this season. 7 times for Najee Harris. So Najee Harris should have like 3 or 4 more touchdowns. Dalvin Cook 6 times. Jamal Williams, even with all those goal lines, he still had 4 instances where he got stopped on the 1 yard line and did not score that drive. So like, dude, that guy got so many opportunities. It was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. They just kept beating the beat.
All opportunity.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might be able to, they're going to see that number and see how the Lions are. And I think like there's a chance for him to replicate. I think you could probably expect that from Austin Eckler, but Jamal Williams, I feel he might be lucky if he even got 10 next year.
I mean, I do think I could see him being the goal line back for this good offense next year. But I do think that they're going to do something about the running back situation because DeAndre Swift is good, but man, dude, like he just injured so much, and they need running backs in that system. And they're all, they're playing indoors and everything. I could see them drafting a running back in the first like 3 or 4 rounds, which is really all you need to do to have a starting running back in the NFL. So. But dude, watching Jamal Williams play that game, I've never seen anybody play like you knew he was playing against his old team, man. Like you knew that he was when he was playing.
It was a very emotional game for him, and it was actually one of his better games. You know, he had 2 touchdowns, and he actually averaged 4.5 yards per carry. He had 16 carries on 72 yards. That's one of his better games.
Oh yeah,
even just for rushing, take away the touchdowns. That's one of his better rushing games of the season. If people played him this week and they were in the championship, fantasy championship, he likely helped you win, be able to hoist that trophy above your head.
Well, dude, last week, they beat the Bears. He had 22 carries for 144 yards. That's 6.5 yards per carry with a touchdown. Other than that, though, dude, he's like literally always under 3 yards a carry.
Yeah. Dang, maybe the Bears were just trying to tank it so they could get that number 1 seed.
Well, they did their job. Just like Indianapolis just went from 7 to 4 because that dude didn't want to catch the ball. He just patted it down.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift though, his he was averaging 4.2 yards a rush, but he was averaging 8.7 yards per catch. He had 7 receptions, but which led the way for the Lions and 61 yards. On he caught every ball that was thrown to him. 7 receptions on 7 targets.
He was he was like a second round draft pick. Dude, this guy's gonna go in the 4th or 5th this next year.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because he has the talent, but he gets beat up and he gets hurt really easily. And when you got Jamal Williams in there, they're just like, all right, we're just going to feed it more to Jamal Williams. He's more durable. DeAndre Swift loses value. Absolutely.
Yeah, he had 99 rushing attempts this season, but like this guy needs God, dude. He's only 23 years old. But remember, Josh Jacobs is 24.
And he
So
just
it's like
the season of a lifetime.
I did see this thing where Nick Bosa was quoted as saying that Josh Jacobs is the best running back he's ever played against, period. Kind of made me think of like, I'm going to think about ranking Josh Jacobs. I mean, I already have him ranked high, but I'm going to think about doing it even higher. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jason, he did not live up to what we thought.
No, in his second year, did not go as what most people wanted. Of course, he was dealing with some injuries throughout the year. He did have some good games. He got his, normal 6 receptions, led the team in targets, but he only produced 49 yards. I think part of the problem is that also Jared Goff didn't even throw a touchdown. Both the touchdowns came from Jamal Williams rushing. It looked like you could definitely tell if it gets into a certain point near the goal line, they are not going to throw the ball. They are going to run it with Jamal Williams. It also takes a hit for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So with that being said, where is this guy going to get picked up next year?
I like Amon-Ra. I would like to have Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially if Jared Goff stays, which I think that he's a perfect quarterback for the Lions. So like I really do like Amon-Ra St. Brown. The only thing I did notice, man, that fool is like, I know he works out all the time. He's starting to look like a running back. You know what I'm saying? How thick he is.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember him being like that last year at all. So I just wondered if that was like, if he needs to lose some weight, maybe get lean. But he's still getting like, 9 targets, 10 targets, 13 targets, 5 targets, 9 targets again. Dude, if I'm getting nine plus targets a game from like in this offense, I would be super happy about that. If he was my wide receiver 2 next year, I could handle it, but I would love to have him be my wide receiver 3. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, he would be he'd be a great flex. I think, for next year, he would be a good wide receiver 2 if he could get the touchdowns like he did the year before. He didn't get many touchdowns this year compared to the year before.
6 touchdowns on 106 receptions. He did have like almost 1,200 yards, but like, dude, and like if you saw him in the middle of the year, he was putting it together like he did last year. And then I don't know if he got injured again. I can't remember, but it just never came back.
Yeah,
because I was trying to trade for him. They're like, "Oh, dude, Amon-Ra," and then he started killing it, and then he went right back down again.
Yeah, he was injured. He got injured. Came back.
And then Jameson Williams, dude, like he only had 1 reception and it was that 141-yard touchdown.
Call
so,
back.
Like I was really high on him. I'd still would rather have. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'd still rather have Amon-Ra way over Jameson Williams, but I think Jameson Williams is going to be worth a flyer next year.
Oh, most definitely. Didn't he just play his first game like in week 10 or week 11?
Yeah, and he had like a catastrophic injury. It wasn't just like an MCL. Like it, like like he needed like a year plus to heal. So.
He's got some speed. I think give it some time. There might be some wide receivers leaving that core next year that he could step in and like maybe do something.
Well, dude, DJ Shark had the 2 biggest catches in the damn game, and he only went 3 for 14. But when it mattered, they hit DJ Shark for that. I think it was 4th and something. Maybe it was 2 fourth down conversions.
Yeah, I know he was able to convert one of the 4th downs.
I was so happy, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So is Jared Goff. He's like, let's go.
Yeah. I am surprised that Jared Goff did not get I would think he would have got like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns this game, but like I said, it was a super cold weather game. So I'm surprised he didn't get one touchdown really. And then running backs did pretty dang good, man. And then so I'm okay with talking about the Lions.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Lions for knocking out the Packers. And on the other side, Aaron Rodgers, 17 for 27, 205 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He got sacked twice. He did have 10 yards rushing. My main concern, though, I want to get into the receiving core a little bit later, but my concern right now is that watching these running backs play through the year, Aaron Jones, he was 12 for 48, 0 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 20 yards, 0 touchdown. He had a fumble loss. AJ Dillon, 9 rushes, 33 yards, no reception off of 3 targets. I don't know who to trust in this running back core for next year, right? Aaron Jones in our league, he went in like the second or third round. That running back core was like just trying to figure out who to play, who to start, who to sit, blah blah blah. I don't know where to go for next year. I don't know. Am I going to try to get Aaron Jones like in the 4th or 5th round? AJ Dillon in the 4th or 5th round? They were very consistent, and they didn't play, or especially Aaron Jones didn't play where he got picked at. But without having a good run game and trying to rely on Aaron Rodgers, who just seems like he's on acid the whole time he's playing, he only produced like 200 yards, and he threw that long deep ball. I think he just trying to take a shot, and it was an awful ball. Threw an interception, and it was an interception. Basically, the game was over after that.
He got saved, man, a couple times for like illegal hands to the face. He threw some bad interceptions because like it was like they were playing that safety. I don't know if he was playing too deep zone, I think. And he would just come. I don't know if he thought he was on the other side of the field. There must have been 2 safeties playing, and because he was just there. It didn't even they didn't show the play, but it looked like he was there the whole time because he had time to run up. Like he caught the ball on the run, ready to return it, and then that was an illegal hands to the face. And then that was the same rookie that I think caught the next interception. But I do want to ask Jason, Joe Mixon or Aaron Jones?
Right now, it looks like it would have to be Joe Mixon. One thing that I wanted to throw into there too is that Joe Mixon like ended the regular season. I don't even think he reached 800 yards rushing.
So that's why it's crazy, man. Like if you look at the running backs next year, I mean, yeah, there's like a top tier, maybe 2, and then after that, it's not good. So it's gonna be me drafting a lot of rookie running backs next year, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of running backs that didn't even get 1,000 yards rushing this year.
Yeah, so like
points that you did not get.
By Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, who's my number 2. I accidentally said Derrick Henry's my number 2. I have Austin Eckler above him.
I would.
Yeah, just because of the way he's used. So, and then Jason, yeah, you were talking about Aaron Rodgers being high all the time. I always noticed like that first drive, like he actually avoided a rush, ran around, and then hit somebody on the run. Other than that, like, dude, like he does not. That was like his bread and butter, was just like avoiding rushes, watching people and throwing downfield. He doesn't do that anymore, man. Like if he tries to avoid stuff, he gets hit. Like he really does.
He's getting old.
Yeah, so it's like I don't think he's realized it quite yet. It's almost like watching Russell Wilson, dude. Like there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, probably needs to change his game a little bit too.
And at the end, do you remember? Did you see when he's like, "Come back to the effing ball" to Christian Watson?
Oh,
It's like
it's always
he underthrew that. Like he underthrew it, and it's like, dude. Instead of just being like, I underthrew that, he's like, come back to the effing ball.
Yeah, Matt Leinart said the same thing, and he didn't last long as a Cardinal.
And then I do want to say after the game, they asked him about my dogs are fighting, sorry. I do want to say that after the game, he was asked if he was gonna come back next year. And then, hey, dude, you got $50 million, like that's a lot of money, blah blah. And he's like, money is energy. And I have a lot of it, and yes, I can walk away. And I was like, dude, I hate Aaron Rodgers sometimes, man.
Please walk away. It's crazy. I used to really like that guy. I remember I was so high on that dude. I drafted him in my fantasy league the year that he was going to be the starter. I was like, this guy is going to be great, and he was great. He even got a Super Bowl, underneath it. But then when he started to get older, and he's not playing the way that he used to play, he's not taking accountability, and he's blaming it on other people. Don't get me wrong, Watson has not had the best year when it comes to just like being consistent and trying to catch the ball. He's got to work on that. They knew that even drafting that guy, he had a problem catching the ball in college, but not even taking accountability. You can't throw the ball as far as he used to, Aaron Rodgers. You know, maybe if you would throw him in stride, he wouldn't have to try to come back and save y'all. But he also, the guy for the Lions, like Jameson Williams, I think it was him. He asked for his. He's like, "Hey man, can I get your jersey?" He's like, "This jersey? No man, I'm keeping this jersey."
Did he really say that?
Yeah,
It could be the last time. It could be the last time he puts it on.
yeah, exactly. So I think
And then Alan, I do want to announce Alan Zard came on today or whatever. I don't know if he's cleaning out his locker, I guess. He said he played his last game for the Packers. So next season, Jason, Christian Watson, are you in or are you out?
dude, now I was like seeing this too. Like I think they were trying to get the ball in his hands like super early. In the first like 4 plays, he got either 2 rushes and a catch, something like that. He had the ball already twice in like the first like 4 plays. I think they're starting to realize, okay, this guy's growing into it. He's starting to build more confidence. He did have 5 receptions for 104 yards on 6 targets. He rushed the ball 2 times for 12 yards. Um, Second year, that's when the biggest jump comes, right? I think I might
It
be.
is.
I think I might be a fan of this Christian Watson guy, especially in
Well,
the floor offense.
I was gonna say, what if Aaron Rodgers retires? Is that how much of a difference does that make to you?
Did you see Love throw the ball? Did you see
That
it?
one time?
That one time? That one time makes a difference.
Awesome.
Woo.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see more of Love in that little brief, outing that he had. He looked pretty good. At that time, I was like, dude, get rid of Rodgers, man. Let's play some love. Let's play some love time. Um, yeah, I think I'd still be a fan of Watson even if Rodgers leaves.
Well, you saw Romeo Dobbs, man. They hit him in the hands on like this. As much as I liked Romeo Dobbs, I think that Christian Watson is the receiver, dude. Like if you're going for upside, I drafted Christian Watson for upside, but I dropped him before I could really, reap the benefits, and then I didn't have enough money to buy him later on.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of people's issues.
Yeah, so like the talent's there. They spent the draft capital on him. He's huge. He's fast. I think he'd be a sleeper next year if Love is the quarterback, because I think a lot of people will sleep on him, and just like let him go late. And I would pick him up because I think he's worth the risk on any of these things right now. But hey, he is no Randy Moss, Jason. Remember when he was being compared to Randy Moss?
Yeah, I don't know why anyone gets compared to Randy.
I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, let's not do this.
Please don't do this. Not now. Not to me. I think he could be a perfect sleeper though, especially if Love's playing. So you could probably get this dude late.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I'm gonna have to do something about my dog. You keep on talking.
I'm going to keep on talking. Did I ever tell you that one time that I met Aaron Rodgers? He tried to offer me some LSD, and I said no because I don't like the Packers. Is that what you're secretly doing? You're packing drugs? It's not cheese? Okay, sorry. Thank you
I
for
heard-
coming back. I ran out of things to say.
I heard what you were saying. But man, I was like, dude, Aaron Rodgers was talking about money not being a big deal and stuff. I was just like, oh my God, dude, like read the room, dude. We're all a bunch of poor people here.
Right.
And people already think you're privileged and everything else. And here you are, dude, whatever. So like
I hope
I
he's
said,
gone. I hope he's gone.
would you like him in Tennessee?
I would like him on his couch.
What does that mean?
And not playing anymore.
Yeah.
I would like him in Tennessee. I think Ryan Tannehill's got talent, but I think Ryan Tannehill can only take you so far. I think Aaron Rodgers, he is Father Time is catching up to him. Father Time is checking his watch on Aaron Rodgers, but he's still got talent. He's still better than half the players out there, and he can still be a starting quarterback. I think he just needs to get a reality check. Take accountability. Yeah, he's Aaron Rodgers. You can still make mistakes. Stop blaming everybody else. Work with
Yeah, well,
work with him.
that's been his MO since he got in the league.
Yeah, well, also, if Derrick Henry plays Derrick Henry, that will relieve so much pressure off of Aaron Rodgers if he went to Tennessee.
It would.
Just hand it off, rely on him more. He could probably have, like, if he went to Tennessee with Treylon Burks, oh man, come back, he could probably have another great season. You could probably get him late too.
And I do want to say that this is a very strong year for tight ends in the draft. Apparently, like super deep and just like amazing. I think that they're going to be drafting a tight end, and if Aaron Rodgers stays, I would like to see who they draft as tight ends go. But I was like, dude, he's never really supported tight ends. I'm trying to think.
I think the last one that I really saw was maybe Jermichael Finley, but then he was getting hurt all the time.
Right. So I don't even know if you want him, but if Love was there, maybe that'd be nice. But I think they need offensive linemen and a tight end.
Yeah,
because they probably still need more. They probably still need more wide receivers. Dude, do you hear my dogs?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god! I wonder if I have this tuned to human voices only because like when I always are like I'm apologizing for my dogs doing crazy stuff and like I can never hear it on the videos.
I'm done with that game. We got 10 minutes left.
Okay. So Jason, I know you want to talk about the fantasy football playoff challenge. I need to sign up for that.
Yes. Tyler's the last one to sign up. Everyone's already picked their players. So you think fantasy is over? No, fantasy's just begun. Yeah. We are I think it's on NFL.com. There is the fantasy playoff challenge. And we are going to continue playing fantasy football through that little program. All it is, it's like you basically need to predict who's going to go to the Super Bowl at least. What two teams are going to go to the Super Bowl, and you pick players from each team all over. Doesn't matter. People can have the same players, but each round that your players picked, if they go in the second round, they get double the points. They make it to the third round, triple the points, make it to the Super Bowl, quadruple. But if you pick a player and they're out in the first round, that position you can't fill them up anymore. It's done. It's Dunsky. There's a good chance that you could even not play anybody in the first round, and everybody in the second round you'll have like double number already starting off with double. Right? It's very tricky. It's very tricky because you technically want to pick players who you think are going to make it to the Super Bowl that could get you quadruple the points.
Well, it's like but if you pick on a team that's playing in the first round of the playoffs, you get all those points and then the double points next week. But the thing is, your odds of the odds of teams playing the first round are less than the first round team by. So I think I've done really well on this. I've won a lot of money doing this, but my strategy still pick who I think is going to make the Super Bowl and then pick their top players, like Patrick Mahomes, Jerick McKinnon, Travis Kelce. And then I would not want a wide receiver I'd probably pick wide receivers maybe from some other team and then swap back to Kansas City if they make it. But because not a lot of wide receivers from are consistently going to get you a lot of points from Kansas City right now anyways.
Right. I think AFC, you got the Bills, you got Kansas City, even got the Bengals in the AFC. I think all three of those teams have a great chance of making it to the Super Bowl. On the other side, it's very hard to count out Tom Brady, even though the Buccaneers barely made it, but Tom Brady's the GOAT for a reason. The Eagles, obviously, get players from over there, and I think you got the Vikings. I think the Vikings could probably go out and win a couple games, but I think in the end their defense like the Cowboys are likely going to be out in the first. The Cowboys are playing. They're cold right now. They're not playing like they should, and they're going up against Tampa Bay, where they played in the first week of the season and lost, and now they're playing. Now they got to go to Tampa Bay. I'm not sure if I want to get anybody from the Cowboys. If I had to, CD Lamb for sure. If you think the Cowboys are going to go on to the next round, yeah, definitely CD Lamb. But I think there's more players to pick in the AFC than there is the NFC.
There are. Can I tell you? So the top 3 teams, dude, or we'll go in order. So
Okay.
Kansas City's a favorite
Right.
to win the Super Bowl. And then like I already told you the people I'd want on that. And then the Bills are number 2. And I probably wouldn't even want a running back from that team, which is kind of crazy. And then the Eagles, number 3. So they're the top NFC. They're actually tied with the 49ers. I actually like the 49ers over the Eagles.
Yeah, 49ers. I forgot about them. Yep, 49ers.
The thing is that you'd have to be picking Brock Purdy, if you want all those points.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I like Jalen Hurts. It'd be tough, man, because like the fantasy positions on the Eagles are way more enticing than the fantasy points on the 49ers. So I'm gonna have to look into that because you can go Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, I guess. I know Debo's back. That's all good, but you could go Miles Sanders, Hurts, and Brown, and maybe wreck stuff. But it'd be nice getting Kittle actually, because Kittle's been catching a touchdown every game. I think
Kittle's probably like number 1 tight end in the last or since Purdy has started. So the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, and then the Bengals are next, Jason.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the Niners. Yep, definitely McCaffrey. You got to see like the road to the Super Bowl, right? Even if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, there's a good chance that they can make it to the AFC Championship, get you triple the points. But
dude, the AFC is so easy because the top 5 teams, so you're gonna pick your squad from the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals. Because other than that, you're going with the Chargers or the Ravens. No, dude. You are gonna go like the odds are so astronomically high, dude, for the Bengals, the Bills, and the Chiefs. Oh my god. So as far as we're concerned, you're picking people from those 3 teams, dude.
Yep.
And they're all on bye. I need to see if the Bengals. No, the Bengals are playing
the Ravens
next week.
Yep.
So I might be going. Oh man,
I want to give me a little Jamar Chase. Little Jamar Chase.
It's gonna be super hard not to go Bengals next week.
Who's 3-0 against the Chiefs?
I know. Dang, man, this is gonna be fun. I might go down, but I mean, your odds are pretty good. I mean, if you look at these teams, your odds are all right.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, because otherwise, dude, NFC, I'm going 2 teams, Jason. There's only 5 teams I'm picking from this. Yeah, because Eagles and 49ers. Then you're looking at Cowboys, Bucks, and Vikings, dude.
Maybe Vikings, depending on who they got to play.
Dude, 49ers are going to wreck this whole thing. 49ers are going to the Super Bowl.
49ers against the Chiefs, rematch of 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I'd pick, dude, I'm going 49ers Chiefs probably.
There we go, rematch.
Or 49ers Bengals. I don't know. It's going to be between the Bengals and the Chiefs. I'm going to have to think about that.
I think I'm going Bengals. I think we're seeing the Bengals team from last year.
You probably didn't hear that fight, did you?
No, I heard it.
Oh my god!
Dude. Like somebody burped. Anyway, I think we're done. We only got like 2 more minutes. I think we went over everything that we can. I hope you guys do the fantasy playoffs because we're gonna still weekly go over the games of the rounds. Should be fun. Will be fun.
I'm thinking about what I need to do tomorrow. But I might just do. We'll do
waiver.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing going on. Maybe we'll just do something Tuesday or Thursday. I'm gonna start getting my rankings together. Like I said, I already have most of them, but I still want to just at least put all my stuff on video for my reference later on.
Sure. Yeah, totally get that.
All right, guys. Well, hey, what'd you say?
I was gonna say we definitely put out more videos this week.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, if you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping us company. And like I said, if you want to know why we are saying catch you on the flip side, go watch the Boondock Saints and get yourself a cat on a couch so I can yell at you.
Great movie. They need
Heck
to
yeah,
come up with the third one, even though they didn't like the second one. They need to ring, mother.
Who was that guy? Who was that? Do you remember his name?
He was the third. He was the extra guy who was trying to get part of the game.
I'll Google it because I was like, I'm gonna just put his clip. I'm gonna watch all the highlights of that movie right there. All right, we got less than a minute, guys. So thank you so much, Jason. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the new computer.
Yay! Go me. Go us.
And we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Goodbye.